I will say I didn't really coming out and starting to actually date were separate things. I should pull my solar. Actually, do we have a second? I
Yeah.
want to pull. I want to pull the chart for when I actually started fucking. You know,
Yeah, let's look at
so
it. Welcome to Orbitals, an astrology podcast. I'm your host, William Holloway, and today's show is all about the astrology of coming out. With me to discuss and dissect is my special guest, astrologer Alexander Kriech. Welcome back. How are you?
hi, thank you. I'm good. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited to talk about this.
Yes, we had originally intended to record this during Pride Month. It is no longer Pride Month. It's July 2nd. I was having an issue with the concept of time in
Yeah,
June a
June
lot.
was exhausting. I was like, let's totally table this.
Yeah,
So
I know.
it's literally fine. Like, so I feel like
But
I'm still recovering. Like,
yeah, I know, right? I mean, I had Neptune opposing my Saturn for the longest time, so maybe that has something to do
oh my gosh.
with it.
I have Mars on my moon today and yesterday.
Oh,
And I'm just like, girl, it's like I want to do all the things, but I'm also still like very tired. So, but
yes.
I'm also just like kind of vibrating a little bit. So,
Yes.
I'm glad we're exercising some of that Virgo energy today to just kind
Yes.
of dissect and talk about stuff, you know?
Yeah, this is the perfect space for that. I too am feeling kind of jittery because I didn't get very good sleep last night. I actually woke up at 3 a.m.
Okay.
feeling very wired. I was having restless leg syndrome, which is
No
a
way.
new thing that I've been dealing with.
Oh my
Um,
God.
which I didn't know was like, anyway, I'm not getting into that. That has nothing to do with astrology.
I mean, I feel like that Uranus hanging out at 29 Taurus, though, is just like, oh my God. Like,
Right.
with everything in the headlines, too, it's like, that's like a recipe for not sleeping, I feel like, as well.
It
So,
is. There's a lot to not sleep about.
yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't sleep, and so I was having these like brain zaps. I was just feeling very jittery and like a lot
Yeah.
of anxiety. And then I go and I look at what transits are happening. This was 3
Hmm.
a.m. this morning, and I had the moon in Libra was conjunct exact almost to the minute my Mercury in Libra,
Oh, okay.
which makes
Interesting.
sense because, Venus is in Taurus pretty close to that Uranus, which is getting ready to leave Taurus. So it's
Yeah.
Uranus has been really loud. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's what it is. I'm like, oh my God, am I having one of those Kundalini things? Because it's in my first house. And then I
Yeah.
remembered that I forgot that I haven't taken my antidepressant in a couple days.
I was gonna say that sounds like the Lexapro zaps. I
Yeah.
literally was gonna say that. So, because I was like, because I
Yeah,
was
my
when I was a late teen, and I would get these brain zaps, and I would run out of it. So,
yeah,
yeah.
Zymbalta. It was
Okay.
my Zymbalta. I forgot.
Okay. Okay. I
And
was like, I could have told you that one. Oh,
I
oh,
know.
my fellow depressed sister, my fellow depressed and anxious sister. I feel you. So,
I know. That's supposed to help with my obsessive thinking. You know,
oh,
my
okay.
Virgostellium needs some help with that. But
Yeah, I actually I what my best one of my best friends is Virgo sun as well and has like the I won't go into it, but actual like people joke about like, oh, Virgo like OCD, but like it's like he's like actual OCD. You know what I mean? But also I think that's also partially due to Saturn sitting right on his ascendant as a think he is a day chart, but that Saturn was it's quite interesting on like the depressive stuff and
yes.
you know. So yeah, that chart's a fascinating case study in all of that. So, but
Yeah,
anyway, I
this
won't reveal too much of his personal info.
that's fair. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting to see how things like depression and anxiety show up in a chart,
Hmm.
but
Oh yeah,
also things like being able to tell if you're gay or not, which
yeah.
is the
Good
subject.
segue.
Good segue. That's why I was like, where's
Okay.
the segue here? Okay.
Yeah.
Happy belated Pride.
Thank you.
Like I said before, we were going to do this during Pride, but I wanted to look at the astrology of coming out. Now, I wasn't familiar with the astrology of my coming out, but I was like, well, I know there's something there, so
Yeah.
let me invite another fellow gay astrologer on here and let's look at it. And I think it's interesting because, in the beginning of learning astrology, that was one thing I remember wanting to know about. I'm like, is that something you can tell? Can you tell if someone is
Hmm.
gay from their chart? And, most astrology teachers would say, no, you can't tell, just like you can't tell someone's race and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But I do think, obviously, it's not going to say that you're gay, but circumstances are going to show up.
I feel like I used to care more about that question way early on, and that was more when I was doing numerology.
Mm.
And there were definitely patterns that would show up when someone was, because I just remember like the number 11 showing up a lot. It's
Hmm.
like the duality and masculine, feminine kind of stuff. It's like someone who's like queer, bisexual would show up a lot. But I feel like over time I just stopped caring about because
Yes.
when you asked me that question, because we were kind of talking about what we want to talk about, I was like, I'm not sure I've ever, I just haven't had that experience. But I would
Yeah.
think that it would, if that is a significant life experience for you, if that is a dominant part of your life story, that is going to show up in your chart just like anything else. But I feel like if it's like not a big deal, like if I just,
Right.
I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe that would show up. But I feel like everything shows up if you look close enough. Because I have
Sure.
a trans sibling, and I kind of feel like that shows up in her chart
Okay.
because I was just teaching like a little workshop about the ascendant ruler. And I was talking about how I have all these family members with Virgo rising. So Mercury being the ruler of Virgo, I was looking at like how does each person differ with their Mercury being in a different part of the chart, being in a different sign, and Mercury in Virgo being like a double-bodied sign. It was interesting to see it kind of like reflect in her chart because she has Venus and Pisces exactly um, opposite her ascendant. And so it was like later in her life, like this femininity became a really big
Mm.
part of like her expression and being angular kind of in the chart, and Virgo being this double-bodied energy. It's like, oh, I kind of start as one thing and then I transition into something else, or like
Like a butterfly.
yeah, so I thought that was, I don't know, that's my thought on that. Like when you look at my chart, I'm like, I'm not sure you can tell. There are certain things
Yeah.
when we were kind of preparing that I was like, oh, there are certain little patterns that I'm kind of noticing. But what do you think? I guess I want to know, like, did you see any signatures in your chart that would maybe indicate that, or any patterns you've noticed over time about like sexuality and stuff, or what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, in my own chart and in others, over time, something I have noticed with queer people, it can be a Uranus emphasis. I mean, there's various reasons that fits, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I've also noticed like some of the younger queer people,
Hmm.
maybe not so much Uranus, it's just like Venus stuff. So it's like as it's less shocking or less
Yeah.
outsider stuff,
Yeah.
then it's just Venus stuff, right?
Yeah. That's interesting because in my chart I have my chart ruler is Mars and it's opposite Uranus in my chart. And like I remember when I came out, I had one day where I was like sad, and then I was so happy. Like afterward, I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy. No one has any expectations on me and I can do whatever I want." Because that was
Mm,
my vivid feeling that I had from it. And thinking about it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, Mars is opposite Uranus." Like I like it's also opposite Saturn in my chart too, so it's like a little
okay,
different, but and
interesting.
Neptune. I'm like in that Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, all in Capricorn. But I
Mm,
that Mars Uranus thing to me was like, oh, it just feels like it's that thing that gives me freedom, like like enjoying being a little shocking, like
yes.
I liked that idea of like I can be on the fringe of society. No one has any expectations of me, like that kind of Uranian kind of feeling. I definitely remember just being like, oh, I'm so happy I can just be this, you know?
Yes.
So yeah.
I had a very similar experience in feeling, oh, I don't have to have these expectations on me about having children and all. Like that was very much part of my thought process when I came out to my mother
Yeah.
anyway. And I'm a Taurus rising
Mhm.
and I have Uranus and Scorpio right on my descendant. So very
Oh,
prominent in my
gotcha.
chart.
Okay. Yeah. you're a little bit older than me too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
So I
was
feel like
born in 80, and so yeah,
okay,
you're yeah, I know you're
I'm I'm 89. So
okay.
like I feel like that Uranus right on your descendant like very prominent. It's like, yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
um okay, cool.
Oh, so you're part of the Saturn Neptune generation that was born in 89.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, totally. So that's interesting to see that play out right now.
Yeah.
So
Well, do you want to share your screen? Do you want to
sure.
talk about your coming out story and
Yeah.
all that?
So I guess I'll share the birth chart first. That's my chart with the aspects. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess for the like coming out stuff, I was sort of like first house, ascendant ruler, seventh and fifth. Seventh being partnerships, fifth being like sexuality. And I guess starting there was kind of where I was looking at.
Okay.
Um, First thing I noticed, well, one of the first things I noticed was Venus is under the beams of the sun.
Mm.
So it's like moving out, but Venus ruling my seventh house of partnerships and generally representing like beauty and sensuality and that kind of stuff. Like I did kind of see it as like that delayed expression, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah. So not necessarily like maybe like the biggest thing, but what I noticed even beyond that first was I have my lot of fortune in the fifth house. The lot of fortune having this sort of faded and kind of charged quality and kind of ruling over things like literally like luck and fortune, but also physical body stuff, including like how you experience pleasure and beauty and bodily
Hmm.
passions. It's like, so that being in the fifth house, like things like romance and love might have like a more of like a faded and kind of charged sort of quality to it. And that part of the chart gets activated at age 16 for me because that would be a fifth house year. And that's
Right.
kind of when I remember starting to like let myself stop actively repressing stuff because I remember hitting puberty and like having these, strong physical like urges and stuff. And I remember thinking, I was like, you need to stuff that down because that's like, you'll go to hell and stuff like that. So,
Of
or
course.
like, that thing of like, there's something wrong with me, like I need to fix it, so,
Right.
and like, and having that, and I have Pluto in my ascendant, Scorpio rising, born in 89. So I have kind of Pluto hovering there. So just sort of dealing with like, just sort of having the inner intensity like all the time, So I noticed that first. But I don't know. What do you see anything? I guess I don't want to monopolize it, but I'm curious what you see
Yeah.
in that.
I mean, certainly the first thing that jumps out to me is that Venus, Mercury in Gemini in the eighth house,
Yeah.
right? Like having a secret or having a something
Hmm.
that yeah, that's like forbidden or something that needs to be explored, something that you
Yeah.
need to do that eighth house work with, right? Like very,
Yeah.
like
And
coming
just like it's like taboo also, like
taboo. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's something you do have to have that hate the whole like dark night of the soul, but every gay
Hmm.
person, every queer person has to, come to terms with who they are, who they want to be, what it all means and reconcile, and that's all very eighth house stuff.
Yeah. When I did initially, I really did think, like many people, obviously bisexuality is a valid identity. There are many bisexual people and pansexual people. I really thought I was bi first. But
I
also
think
that
that's
speaks to
normal.
Gemini. Yeah, and that speaks to that Gemini energy too. Because, I thought I was sometimes I think quite literally, and I was like, well, I've been attracted to girls a few times. But also I didn't really know the difference between like having like an intense friend crush on someone and
Right.
wanting to have sex with someone, you know what I mean, and be romantically involved with someone. I was like, so yeah,
Little gay
so
guys always like to date pretty girls, right?
exactly, yeah, and we're like, and I still recognize now as an adult if I meet a friend, like I have that feeling. I'm like, I would have been fucking obsessed with you in high school, but it's
Right.
and that is kind of a crush to me, but it's like not like a crush. So I definitely had that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Love it. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, and then even your moon in Virgo, squaring Venus, the nature of a square is like it's very powerful, but it's something you have to work through, and it can be a
Yeah.
challenge, and then it becomes a superpower later on, right?
Yeah. And Venus is almost exactly square my nodes in my chart. And
Mm-hmm.
and it also squares the lot of fortune as well too. So like there's just something extra like potent about like Venus stuff in my
Yep.
chart. When I started to come out, it's very linked to 11th house stuff for me, which is the seventh house. So partnership, from the lot of fortune. My 11th house in my charts, like there's a lot going on there. 11th house
Mm-hmm.
is friends and colleagues and stuff. But I actually was super into World of Warcraft when I was like a teenager.
Okay.
And my guilt, like I remember feeling like I first kind of came into who I was because of like the social aspect of it, because I was bonding with these like adults, like online
Yep.
and in game, and a lot of them happened to be gay or queer. And I remember first discovering that I was like funny and like I had like an interesting sense of self and identity. And a lot of them were gay. And I just was like, oh, I kind of there's a like a resonance happening, even
You
if
had
I
an
wasn't
audience.
exactly, yeah, like, and I was like, oh, I'm like queening out for like the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was and I literally, I went to, actually went, my dad came with me and my little sibling came with me, but there was like an in-person like get together, like a camp, basically. Like we all went camping, like we went a couple states away. But I just remember being like those friendships and connections I had then like really helped me like kind of realize what was going on and help me come out and stuff. And that was a very like big deal. And my moon being in my 11th house, I think is a big part of that. And so that happened when I was 16.
Okay.
And so, that fifth house is activated in the
Mm-hmm.
chart, and, fun and recreation and like friends and everything. It's all kind of coming up to the surface, but it also has this like extra sort of charged and faded quality to it as well. I think because of the lot of fortune being there and everything. So
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
yeah.
How
Um,
was it with when you came out to your parents? When was that? Did you come out to your parents after your friends? Was it like a period of time? Like was that years
um,
later or?
no, it was like around that time. My dad found my MySpace page.
I love that.
Okay, he found my MySpace page. I said I was buying my MySpace page. I must have been 16, going on to 17, somewhere in there. I remember like we're in the basement. Um, but the thing is, my dad had just watched Brokeback Mountain, and
Oh,
like a couple months before, because our guild leaders, we were like, oh, they're just best guy friends who live together and have cats. And then it was like, oh, they're gay. Wow, that's crazy. That's nuts. Oh my
yeah.
God, they're gay. Wow. That was like earth-shattering for him and me. And then he watched Brokeback Mountain, and then he was just like, oh, I get it. Like I get it now. And
Oh,
then I
good.
think there was something in me that was like, it's safe to come out, because then he asked me, what is with this bi shit, quote quote, direct quote,
Oh,
on my MySpace page. And he's like, are you just gay? And I just said yes. Like I was like, yes. And that was the first time I'd even admitted it to myself. Like I was just like, yeah, I'm just
wow.
gay, you know? Um, and then um I remember, I think I must have come out to my mom a couple weeks later, and it wasn't this like, I was like on my way to work, and she was like on the phone or something, and I was like, by the way, I'm gay, and I just like left. And that's really all I remember from it. I honestly feel like I feel like she had a little bit of a harder time with it, weirdly. I don't know why.
Usually one of the parents has a harder time than the other. It's
Well, she was more like outwardly accepting and stuff, but I get a feeling that that might have been a little,
more of a
I don't know.
struggle
Yeah,
internally. Yeah.
for whatever reason. And then yeah, but otherwise it was, I feel like I had a pretty, I mean, I still was like really kind of like repressed and like buttoned up for a long time. I think I'm looking at that moon in Virgo a lot of like, of like
And
Because
there could be a
I
bit of an assimilation, like with Virgo, sometimes like there's something about people pleasing with Virgo.
yeah.
So that could
Yeah,
be when
and
it comes to
like
this, yeah, you're not
it's like
fully,
there's a feeling of like not wanting to rock the boat. Like I
yes, that's
just
what.
was like, I was like, "Ooh," and because you look back, this was the mid 2000s, and like I remember looking back at that decade and being like, that was so fucking homophobic back then.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's hard, and like I forget about it, and I feel sometimes when I run into homophobia now, I'm like, it's like shocking to me that it still like exists almost, maybe because I'm in like it's a different time and I'm like a more like urban area and stuff. But like, I just was
Yeah.
like, wow, like, I forget about it. So I think I was just protecting myself a lot still, even though I was technically out. I was still I was in my shell for a very long time, even after I came out. So,
Mhm.
because like making queer friends and stuff, that didn't come till later. Dating didn't come till a lot later for me too. So,
Okay.
but people had asked me if I was gay, since I was young, because the way I talk and, my general
Same.
demeanor and stuff, it's
Yeah,
like, so, so it just wasn't, but it was a big relief, nonetheless, to not keep that a secret anymore.
absolutely. I love that.
So,
And did
yeah.
you have any opposition from anyone in your family or any friends, or was it generally accepting?
I had started to really make friends with people that with like girlies at that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
so like band and choir, girls and stuff. So I just,
Oh, you were
uh,
safe. Yeah, you were finding your safe spaces.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And with family, I kind of didn't really have to come out to a lot of people. It was sort of just gradually people found out, and I didn't really talk to a lot of my extended family. Um, like a lot of my like I remember like my mom's extended family I just had nothing to do with for the most part. I have more I have chilled out a little bit more with that now. But I just part of me was like I don't give a fuck, and you accept me or not, because my I felt pretty accepted by my parents and stuff, and
That was what
so
mattered most. So,
yeah, I think I just needed to feel like I was in my safe kind of cocoon, and so I could be that introvert for a while, and kind of
yeah.
figure myself out after that. But that was just, so I think it was just a long process. But also, if you look at the first house ruler, it's Mars in Cancer. So it's
Mm-hmm.
Mars in its fall. It's conjunct Chiron as well. I have
Yes.
Chiron turned on, which I know you don't have it turned on your chart. So,
I know
but
where it is.
exactly. But I think that Mars in Cancer as that protective shell
Yes.
is very much like was very much me and still is, to some degree. But I've definitely let a lot of that armor go. But I
Hmm.
think if you look at the that planet as being in its fall, it's like I feel like it's like a chart that like gradually comes into itself, and it's just
Yeah, it
more like
finds its own
more
time.
comfortable. Yeah, and more confident, more courageous and more about because like Mars being the ruler of the first house of self and identity, it's like, you know. So yeah. Do you want me to talk about the specific transits that I found out about?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me back this ass up really quick and let's go to the solar return. So we'll go to the solar return at age 16. So that year, solar return sun in the eighth house at age 16,
Mm.
um, which I think is kind of classic, like you could say
Yep.
dark night of the soul, quote unquote, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Um, I did notice that Jupiter is right in the ascendant, but from the 12th house. And so I saw that as like, oh yeah, there's a lot of spiritual growth kind of happening behind the scenes at age 16. Um, Jupiter is, oh, I thought that was, wow, I should have worn glasses. Okay. I thought that was more more of an exact aspect, but um Jupiter is still trine Venus in the ninth house. And there was something about going on that trip, I think, that year to
Oh,
like
okay.
with friends and stuff. I thought that was really interesting. And is
Love
there
it.
anything else? Mars Venus conjunction, that kind of explosive, disruptive kind of stuff. It
Or
is in the
Mars
natal.
Uranus.
Yeah, it's in natal fifth house,
Yep.
which is like just, I think that combustible kind of energy, but of like, I'm kind of coming alive a little bit. But I would also mention it's in the solar return sixth house of work, and I started working. I got my first job at age 16.
Mm.
Um, and age 17, let me go back to 17. I think there was more going on that year, but you can kind of see the beginning of it start to happen.
Yeah.
Um, where's
All the
okay.
pieces coming together.
Yeah. This is actually when eclipses started happening in Pisces and Virgo, which were my 11th and fifth houses, which it's also connected to that nodal return that kind of happens kind of when you get to like around freshman, sophomore college for me age. But it was kind of like I really feel like that's when I started to become more myself was age 17, like more of a realized identity. Like I had really strong interests in like, various artistic things and music and like was really interested in like comedy and just like a lot of my personality traits that I have now emerged at that time. And Jupiter was in Scorpio that year. And so it would have been a right about to go over my ascendant around my birthday in 2006 when I turned 16. There's that conjunction of ascendant and Pluto in the solar return chart as well, which I think is just like a theme with me anyway, but just that feeling of like metamorphosis a little bit.
Hmm.
And there's also a Mars return happening in Cancer. Mars being my ruling planet, it's pretty important as well. So I just kind of feel I just saw a lot of themes of beginning. I also low key, I feel like I was at a pretty heavy weight that year too. Like
Oh,
um between six, I just needed to learn about like exercise and I just loved I think I was feeding some depression
oh,
at
for
that
sure.
time,
I had a
you
few of
know.
those years. Yeah, yeah.
So that Taurus sun was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get an entire frozen pizza
Yeah,
again.
it's healing. It's healing. It's healing.
Yeah, yes. So, but that's kind of what I noticed as far as like transits and stuff. There was definitely a story kind of going on.
Yeah, I love it. And then, you've got that Jupiter in the 12th, trining Mars in the 8th. It's
Mhm.
like coming out of the dark, right?
Yeah, totally. Also, it's a sixth house year. It's
Hmm.
ruled by Aries, so that's Aries for me. So ruled by Mars again. So I think the Mars return was like something really kind of like significant going on. There, I definitely don't miss a Mars and Cancer transit. There's always something going on there for me, you
Yeah,
know.
I was gonna
Um,
say.
yeah. This last year was intense with that never-ending Mars and Cancer fucking
Oh,
transit. It was so really
oh my God,
demanded.
that was insane. Yeah. No
Yeah.
thanks. I don't want to do
So
that again.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of that.
Cool. Interesting. Well, I see a lot of similar things that I saw in my stuff from my
Okay, cool.
too. Yeah, so pretty
Well, let's
awesome.
see it.
All right.
It feels so intimate sharing our charts like this,
I
actually, I will
know,
say. I'm
right?
like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. There was like, I don't know what point I was talking, but I was like, am I tearing up a little bit? Like, Jesus. So you think you're kind of over it and not actually.
I know, it's true. Yeah, I was feeling a lot of feelings looking back. It was a little verklempt a couple times there.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my chart. I was 15 when I came out.
Hmm.
That was in 95. I was a freshman in high school. Pluto had just
Okay.
entered my eighth house. So
Okay.
in 95, Pluto entered Sagittarius. And it was, I want to say, around 13, which is when I started to really realize that I was gay,
Hmm.
that Pluto was on my descendant. I was
Oh, wow.
about
Okay.
13. So then by
Yeah.
the time it made it to my eighth house, I was like, all right, this is like part of me,
Yeah. Yeah.
And also something of note is that when anything goes into my eighth house, I have my lot of fortune right there. So it trined my lot of fortune as soon
Mm,
as Pluto went in.
okay. We have so much synastry at that
We do.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's giving girlies.
I love that. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so 22 Taurus. Um
22 Taurus. Uh, I do feel like this Uranus on my
that
descendant
yeah,
speaks to being a big homo.
that is so loud for sure. It's like, yes. Look
Yeah,
at me clashing with the culture, not doing
right.
what you want. You know.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. So your fifth house, so your seventh house ruler is Mars. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Mars in Scorpio. Do you have like
Yeah.
a big like? Did you ever have like a punk phase or like an emo phase or like what was the
Yeah,
equivalent of
all of
that?
that. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't call it emo because I think emo is different by the time.
Yeah, because it's like I'm not using the right word, but
Yeah, but
goth kind
God, oh
of.
yeah, I had all that. Yeah, all of the things. I've had a lot of phases.
Yeah.
I certainly when I came out at 15, I dyed my hair blue and I wore like a dog collar and
Great.
Doc
Great. Yeah.
Martens and all that stuff.
I love that.
Yeah,
Because you have such an intense seventh house. It's like I'm going to be divisive, like you
yeah,
know.
yeah. And always like friends with people who, were shocking or that people were like, oh, who's that? That was always a big deal to me
Right.
in high school. Because when I got to, actually, let me pull up my solar return chart for that year because I really leaned on my solar return charts because I remembered like, it was generally 95.
Yeah.
95, I want to say the winter when I came out.
Hmm.
And that's the one I remember pretty closely, but let me
I know it was hard to narrow. We talked about this. It was hard to narrow down the exact times. I wish I would have kept a journal or something.
I know I used to, but all that stuff got thrown away.
Oh no. Okay, so this
So
is your
this is
coming
my
out year.
coming out year. So this was also the year I entered high school. So I was a freshman in high school. This was the year after Kurt Cobain died. So
Oh
I
my gosh.
remember it was very like I was very lucky that like in alternative teen circles, there were safe spaces for like experimentation. Everybody
Hmm.
was bisexual, at least where I lived, it seemed like that
Yeah.
was like the in thing. So it was really safe to
Yeah.
come out because everybody was by for like a hot second. Yeah, my eighth house is rising.
Hmm. Um, and you have your moon applying to the descendant as well.
Yep.
Um, what about
Venus under the beams.
oh yeah, totally. Uh,
I was having a Mars return.
yep, there's that Mars return thing again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
because yeah.
remember I as soon as I got to high school, I wanted to be friends with all the seniors because there were like a handful of lesbians and queer people that were seniors, some juniors, some seniors. So I became
Hmm.
friends with this goth girl, and I just remember maybe it was a musical or something. I don't know why we were there, and we were smoking cigarettes like on the back of the school in the by the cornfield, and I just remember smoking
Yeah,
cigarettes and coming out to her. And I never come out to anyone before. And I wasn't even close friends with her, but I felt safe because she was like, the bisexual goth girl. And
yeah.
she told me she wasn't going to tell anybody. I was like, don't tell anybody. And of
Hmm.
course, she told everybody. But it was okay because all of at least all the seniors that knew about it were like trying to set me up with people. So within a few months, I had my first boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Everybody was setting me up. It wasn't, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah, I guess you got a boyfriend with the moon conjuncted descendant in your chart, and also like your sun being so high in the chart by the
Mhm.
midheaven, it's like this elevation in your status almost too. You know what I mean? Like, People are like
Yeah.
noticing me more. I'm gay, I'm queer, whatever. Like I'm hanging out with the seniors.
Yes. It was a
Jupiter
big
is
deal to
conjunct the
me.
ascendant. Yeah.
And I'm still friends with some of those people that, that it was so important to me to hang out with but it was, and again, it was like, on one hand, yes, it was because I was like, oh, they're cool and they know who they are more, and I can be more experimental with who I am around them
Hmm.
because they've go to raves and they do cool stuff and they know more music than I do, whatever. But
Hmm.
another part of it was it felt safe to have, another safety thing to have. Well,
Yeah.
if I have the seniors, no one's going to fuck with me if I've got like seniors on my side. So,
Yeah. So how was it at home? Because there's Saturn on the IC and you're
well, I had a stepfather at the time who
hmm
was not so cool.
hmm
Um, and I did not come out to my mother at this time, but I can open up the solar turn for the year I came out to my mother.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I had a stepfather that really sucked, who had moved in like 2 years before. Yeah, he sucked. He still
hmm
sucks wherever he is.
Yeah. I also had a shitty stepfather as well.
Ugh,
Current one's great. I've known him for a long time, but the
good.
one from my 9 to 14 just yuck.
Yeah, I had
So,
similar. I had a
yeah.
terrible stepfather from 13 to 19.
Okay.
But the man that my mom's with now, who she's been married to for a while, he's wonderful.
By the way, I love seeing your charts. We had Debbie Harry and Judy Garland in Israel, and I'm like, and
Oh
whatever is
yeah.
going on, just like geopolitics and the divas of our time.
Yeah.
So, okay, so when did you come out to your mom?
So I came out to my mom at some point during my senior year, which
Okay.
was this solar return for 1998, which gives me a Virgo rising, which is I'm a Virgo, so that's
Fifth?
my fifth house, but also where my sun and my
Hmm.
Jupiter and Saturn live.
Okay.
It was an intense year.
Hmm.
Uh, I had been some point around, I don't, some point in here, I was asked by my school counselor to start the first gay straight alliance at my high school.
Hmm.
There had never been one before. I don't know if they still call them that. I think they might actually, which is so strange. That's gay straight alliance.
I know. I wonder what it's called now. And I remember it being called like the 10% Society when I was younger
Oh,
too, and I was like, oh
oh,
my God,
weird.
like I know it's
Yeah.
the language has evolved so much.
The language has evolved. Yeah. And
Yes.
so I was like, oh, so there was like a part of me that was like, I had never really considered before, like that I could represent, you know, gay
Hmm.
people, but I felt very empowered. The fact that
Yeah.
my counselor asked me, because, the counselors can't create groups, students have to. She was like, I really think that the school needs it, and I think you'd be the perfect, because as far as she knew, I was the only out person, which
Hmm.
at that point, by the time I was a senior, I might have been one of the only out people at my
Hmm.
school.
Hmm.
So I was all about it. And I went to all these different county meetings and like how do we
Wow.
create a successful gay straight alliance? Like what kind of activities do we do? How do we get people involved? And
Hmm.
I got like people to start coming to meetings and all this stuff. And I kept having to lie to my mom about what kind of group after school activity I was going to.
Wow.
I was really into wanting it to be, I wanted to have like a gay prom
Yeah.
where all the gay kids in the county could go to one school and then have a gay experience with other gay people,
Yeah.
or get to know other gay
Yeah.
people. Meanwhile, the rest of the kids that were not out in the group wanted to sell hot dogs at the football game.
Okay.
And I was like, you have to be kidding me. Do you
Yeah.
realize like how insane that is? Like, you
Yeah.
really want to put us in that position? You're gonna have us handing out hot dogs at a football game. A bunch of closeted, pimply,
I know.
gay
No, thank
teenagers
you.
handing out hot dogs.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so I bowed out because I was not I was the
Okay.
odd man out. And I was like, well, if this is not progressive to me, this is weird. I don't want anything to do
Hmm.
with it. I still remember them like having to say over the announcements like that the Gay Straight Alliance was gonna give out hot dogs. Anyway,
Oh my God, I just don't want to open up myself for any like phallic jokes. If I'm like
Right.
like
Why?
um
Yeah.
so
Very
that
true.
didn't because I was gonna say because Pisces is your 11th, right?
Yes, Pisces is my
Yeah.
11th.
It's like the meetings and groups, but so how did your experience with your mom go?
It went okay in my memory.
Hmm.
She didn't take it she was completely shocked,
Hmm.
which is strange to me in retrospect. I mean, she even says it now. She can't believe that she was so shocked, but she just
Yeah.
was. She was in denial about it.
Yep.
Um, and she did struggle with it for many years. Now now she goes to pride parades and wears the what is I always see the women at the pride parades that say like they have a gay kid, I'll give you a hug or whatever.
Oh, I love that so much. I know
Yeah.
that always makes me tear up while
So,
doing
but that's how
that.
my mom is now, but she was not in the beginning. She wasn't. She was, I'm sure, I think it stemmed from that whole, like, I want you to be safe and happy, and I'm worried you'll be sad and lonely,
Yes,
you know?
totally. Yeah, completely. I think there's just so much subconscious programming of like seeing people dying for so long, and
Right.
everything that went along with it that I'm sure it's just lodged in her subconscious.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
But yeah,
Uh,
something I thought was interesting was that Jupiter in Pisces at 23 degrees was opposing my natal Jupiter, um,
oh, okay, cool.
which is very, like self-reflection, like what are my values, like what are my values? What do I stand for? Like
Hmm. Yeah, Jupiter's really active in this chart. I mean,
yeah,
it's opposing your sun, your ascendant. Your Mercury's really loud too, you know. It's
yeah,
also very like Virgo ascendant with Mercury and Virgo ruling the midheaven. It's like feels very clear about who it is. I kind of feel like in this.
totally. Any trends? Have we seen any trends with anything here? Does anything
Oh
jump
my
out to
God.
you that we've seen? I mean,
Were we talking about Mars stuff? What
yeah,
was what was our Mars thing?
there's
Was it a
we
Mars
both had a Mars
return?
return.
Yes.
Jupiter seemed to be really speaking something, and then of course Venus.
What does Mars rule? Mars rules your seventh, if I
Hmm.
remember correctly. So partnership. Mine's my first of self. I
Yep.
will say I didn't really coming out and starting to actually date were separate things. I should pull my solar. Actually, do we have a second? I
Yeah.
want to pull. I want to pull the chart for when I actually started fucking. You know,
Yeah, let's look at
so
it.
same ascendant as it was when I officially came out. There's a new moon going on
Mm-hmm.
at exactly 23 degrees, which is obviously where my solar return sun is. And what that would be happening in my natal seventh house. That's kind of fun. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of
yeah,
perfect.
it is kind of perfect because I was like, what's going on that year? And also I met that boyfriend through a friend as
Uh-huh.
well. And what perfection year would that be? Age 21. Oh, it
10th
is.
house.
Oh, it is 10th house. Okay. Um, yeah, because 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Oh, you're right. Okay. But in this case, also, in the solar return chart, my natal 11th house is the 10th house in the solar return chart too, which is kind of interesting as well. But just like meeting someone through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say though too, that 10th house perfection, my 10th house is Leo, my natal. The sun in my chart is in the seventh house. So it's bringing through that relationship kind of dynamic, like anyway. And I have noticed in 10th house activations and sun activations, there's usually career and relationship stuff happening at the same time.
Right. Like personal fulfillment,
Yeah.
things that you've been
to-
working. Yeah.
yes. I'll say I did get a new job that year too that I had for like a year and a half. And that needle, there's some sixth house work stuff going on, but there's Jupiter and Uranus conjunction that's happening in Pisces, which would be fifth house as
Mm-hmm.
well too. Because I just remember starting to like party more and
Having more
like
fun.
just
Yeah.
having more fun, and for better or for worse. But I really, by that point, I was dying to start having. I was like dying. I was like, I am ready. Let's fucking get this over with. Thank God, So I just was like
It was
so
an
ready to.
adventure. I mean, look at that. You've got, yeah, your body was literally going on an adventure. You've got the lot of horse and conjunct
Yes.
the ascendant, which is ruled by
So,
that Jupiter.
yeah, so
In
yes,
it,
that's a good
yeah,
point. Guys, I just remember being set up with this guy. My friend was there for buffer for a little bit, and I got drunk for one of the first times too, in this bar. And then he's like, "Let's go for a walk," and we ended up at his house. And I was like, "I know exactly what's happening. Thank fucking God. Let's do it." But I remember being just like awake because I slept over and I was just like awake the whole night because I was just like vibrating because I'm like, I can't believe it just happened. Thank
yeah,
God. I cannot believe it just happened. What's happening right now?
right.
So yeah, that's that. And then also, yeah, and then solar return, Venus is right there in the seventh house as well.
Perfect.
So it's giving she's finally getting dick down. Finally. Thank
It
God.
is, yes.
And it's gonna get much, much better from that point on because it
Yeah,
was, you know, so, but hey, it was good practice.
good practice.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is a great losing your virginity solar return. For
I love
sure.
that. I love that. Thank God. Starting going to parties and having sex. Thank God. Let's get those fifth house and seventh house activations going. So, all right.
Exactly.
That's critical to our examination, but
Yeah.
you know, what were we saying? We were asking about trends. So Mars,
Yeah, Mars seems to be a trend. Jupiter definitely seems to be a trend. We both had prominent solar returns where we had Sagittarius rising.
yep.
Um,
Yeah, that's true. That happened to me twice. That
yeah,
was coming out year and then having sex year.
right.
But Jupiter rules my fifth as well of sexuality.
Yeah.
What else do we notice? So, um, oh, Jupiter, yeah, Jupiter. But specifically for me, it was there's Jupiter twice. Jupiter going over my ascendant. It was like, hello, here I am. Here's my identity.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like first house activations is good. That has to be a thing of like yourself and your identity. Um,
Yeah,
but
what
I
were
don't.
my, when I first came out, that was a fourth house,
Okay,
perfected year.
and your
So
fourth house is
Leo, where my
okay.
Venus is.
Yep, yep.
And then, so then when I came out and to my mom and then the rest of the world in 98, I
Hmm.
was having a seventh house year,
Oh, okay,
ruled
cool.
by Mars and Scorpio. So,
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
kind of cut and dry. First, seventh, probably some fifth thrown in there too.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, that's cool. Also, I feel like there was some supported stuff by the moon also too as well. Like it's
Hmm.
okay. You
Yeah.
know, I guess it would depend on your coming out experience though. If yours is really traumatic, I would be definitely interested to see what transits and stuff are happening for you at that time as well. You know?
Yeah, I know. I would like to do some more of these. Maybe it'll be if this podcast keeps going on and on, I'll for years, every Pride I'll do a different coming out stories because I would like to hear different, maybe some more difficult because I think we both had pretty easy
Yeah.
coming out experiences compared to what so many other people have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So many hellish experiences. I was pretty privileged, I think, in that regard to be like, it's just not a big deal. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It was like I
I was
said,
physically safe. So that's
physically
like,
safe. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Physically safe. I didn't get disowned by my family. My family
Yep.
loved me no matter what. It didn't mean they were comfortable with it right away. Now they have absolutely no problem whatsoever. They wouldn't want me any other way. But it
Yeah.
was a bit of a journey. But yeah, again, privileged and feel very lucky to
Yeah.
have that experience because not everyone gets to have that.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, well, thank you. This is really fun.
This was really fun. Let's see, what time is it? Do we have time to
Oh,
do the
do you want to play
game?
Wheel of Fate?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Great.
Cool.
Spin the wheel.
All right. So the way this works is I spin a wheel, lands on a random planet, then I spin another wheel and it lands on a random sign. and then we just riff on that for a few minutes, whatever comes
All
to mind.
right, let's go.
All right. Now we play the Wheel of Fate. Ooh.
I
Oh,
do love that Dorothy's face is right in the middle for anyone who doesn't see it. It's kind of okay. We got the moon.
we got the
Okay.
moon.
Okay, Miss Luna. Let's see what we got going on with you.
All right. I know, poor Dorothy, she's gets a little dizzy here. All right, here we go. So it's the moon in. Ooh, moon in. Oh,
Oh, moon in Sagittarius. Okay.
all right. Moon in Sagittarius.
Okay. Great. So it's in a Jupiter ruled sign. It's a fire sign. Um, do you know a lot of moon in Sagittarius people? I feel like I feel like I probably do.
I know. B. Arthur,
Oh, yes.
right?
Okay. Calling it back.
Calling
Yeah.
it back.
Yep.
Liberace.
Okay. Great.
Oh, Donald Trump, of course.
Oh, bitch. Speaking of fucking long-winded.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Oh,
God.
damn.
But then also
Um,
Albert Einstein,
okay.
Neil Armstrong.
We have some really widely varying examples
Yeah,
here. I guess appropriate for a mutable sign, you know?
yeah,
So I always just think someone who's probably going to land on their feet, you know? That's like a Sagittarius thing for me. Especially if like the moon having that kind of more wandering quality anyway. I feel like it'd bring out that sort of wandering traveler quality if we have like
yes.
Sagittarius energy. Um, and like the
Moon and
need to kind
Sag
of,
people love to travel.
yeah, it's that need for exploring,
Hmm.
you know. There is the obviously kind of more philosophical side to Sagittarius as well. But I always think of the gambler also too being a Sagittarius thing, which I guess is like that landing on their feet kind of thing.
Yeah, but
Trying
there
to
is a
think,
risky quality to it, right? Yeah, like
yeah,
let's go to Vegas, roll some dice.
yeah.
And there is something about when I think about some of my friends with Moon and Sagittarius, that ability to hold deep conversations about like some of the fluffiest stuff with also like real world stuff.
Yeah, totally. Bringing the actual meaning of it. I do feel like I know teachers, like spiritual teachers who have Moon and Sagittarius as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Also just kind of needing space, you know, too. I kind of think of it was like if you're gonna date a Moon and Sagittarius, let's not box them in or tell them what to do too much, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know.
They're gonna do what they want to do ultimately.
Hmm. Yeah, literally gives me the feeling of like the wandering horse. Like the moon is just sort of like, let's let her wander and do her own thing, and you know,
Yeah.
um,
Give her a grassy knoll and a trough and
totally. I do always breathe, you know, having like when the transiting moon goes into Sagittarius. I don't mind the moon being in Scorpio. You know, it's my ascendant. You know,
yeah,
but
as Scorpion Moon. I feel the
when
same.
when the moon goes into Sag, I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of chill out a little bit. And it's my
Yeah.
second house. So sometimes I will like throw up like an offer, like a sale or something, or think of some, and I don't even realize that the moon is in Sagittarius. It's like when I'm doing that, you know? So because I'm just like, let's just fucking try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes my approach to finances and also like anything in my business too. I wish it was more well thought out, but
Yeah.
I just am like, whatever, like let's just try and see if it works, you know?
That's a big thing about the moon in Sagittarius. And I've noticed that when I've been on vacation, the most relaxed I ever am is when the moon's in Sagittarius,
Yeah.
where I'm the most, I don't give a crap about whatever is going on. Like, let's just do it, whatever. That sounds great. Fun.
Yeah.
Let's
And
go.
let's not have a plan. Let's just kind of check
Yeah.
things out. I love those are my preferred vacations. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. You would think me having a moon in Virgo, I'd be more like, let's do this and this and this. I might have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm more like, let's go with the flow. I want to indulge. So moon being in Sag would be my favorite vacation time, you know?
Me too. But then the moon goes into Capricorn. I remember one vacation, it was like, it was the best, like moon in Sagittarius. And as soon as it went to Capricorn, all of a sudden everything became about, money, the like
Yeah.
time and not
Yeah.
enough time, too much time. I don't know. It just was like all of a sudden, like things started mattering. Like
Yeah.
time became a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I definitely savor those. I definitely savor those. Especially, I feel like when a Sagittarius transits now might be a little bit more fun since Saturn's out of Pisces for now. You
Yes.
know, it's not as hampered by that. So I'll have to keep track of when it goes into Sag next. It should be fairly soon because the moon's cruising through Libra at the moment. So
Yeah.
although that'll be what, a full moon in Capricorn, so it'll be very like it'll be a waxing Sagittarius moon. So I'll definitely have to keep track of what's going on with that. But yeah, moon in Sagittarius. We like her. We've determined that we like her.
Yeah.
I feel
She's
like
great fun on vacation.
yes. So um yeah, all right, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we did that. Before we go, what do you have anything going on? What's going on with you astrologically?
Well, I'm going to be teaching a class fairly soon about the ascendant and the chart ruler. I
Cool.
got to decide when I'm going to teach that because I taught it as a 1 hour workshop, but I realized I had a 2 hour workshop that I prepared. So,
Oh,
but I
gotta
think
split
that's
it
like
up
my
maybe.
I was like, this clearly, I had to run through my slides and I was like, I was going to teach this as a 2 hour class myself. So keep an eye out for that on my socials. And you can check me out on my YouTube channel as well, on my Instagram. I just talk about usually like the current weather. I'm definitely wanting to like sort of change things up a little bit because I'm doing like monthly forecasts like for each sign. But I think I'm gonna want to talk more about the astrology of current events.
Ooh.
Because I remember thinking yesterday, I was so mad at generally current events, but specifically with
Mm.
the bill that's trying to go through
Oh,
Congress right now and Lisa fucking Murkowski.
yes. I
And
saw you post
and
that. Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
yeah.
and once I was done being so enraged and I could think a little bit, my astrology spooky brain was kicking in, and I was like, I bet there's something going on in her chart, and Uranus is about to conjunct her sun. So I want to start talking more about what's going on, current events, politically, pop culture wise, and obviously the astrology of kind of what's happening within, tying it together. So that's kind of
Fun.
what's going on for me now. Yeah. And then I'm obviously, always doing readings and I do psychic readings too. If people want to kind of connect more to their guides, that's been a fun side effect of my Jupiter return. Realizing I was like, oh, I still love doing that too. That's deepened in like the past
Oh,
year of
good.
tuning into guides and stuff. And mediumship has been one of those things too. So, because I
Do
have
you,
Mercury in the eighth house.
oh,
So,
yeah. There you go.
yeah,
Do you have a
yeah,
moment to explain a little bit more? Because I remember last time
yeah,
I wanted to ask you to expand a little bit more on
sure.
on that side
Yeah,
of what you offer. Because I think it's
yeah,
really interesting. And I too, I said last time I still need to get
yeah.
a reading from you. But yeah, I'd
Oh,
love to
yeah.
hear a little bit more on that.
I've been doing that for a long time, since 2016. And it's funny because I feel like so many people have like, and when I say like psychic medium, I usually don't really use cards or anything. It's more just like I'm tuning into you and your energy and getting messages from spirit for you. And that was more me accidentally finding out that's something I was good at and enjoyed because I decided to take a class in it. Because I was like, because I remember it being like, oh, my numerology says I should be really psychic and intuitive. Let me go see if I can take a class on it. And it was like a year long like psychic development program. We'd like meet every week. And
Cool.
by like class four, I was like, oh, I might do this for a living. Like I just was like, I should probably look at what's going on in my chart at that time. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's just like over Zoom or over the phone or something. And usually, I always meditate beforehand to kind of clear my energy. And um I'll start with it's what I learned to do several years ago, and I still do it. It's called a rose reading.
Oh,
So I'll see it in my mind, and I'll have you say your name and whatever symbol is popping up. It's like it just kind of helps get things going. So like today, I remember doing a reading like last week, and I saw a person's rose was like really vibrant, and it looked like it was painted. It was,
mhm.
and I found out she's an artist, right? It's
Hmm.
because specifically it's painted. She's like, I'm a visual artist. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But also, like, the rose was like it was like under a glass, like in Beauty and the Beast,
Oh,
and it felt like it was wanting to grow past it. It felt stuck in the glass. And to me, I was like, it's kind of giving like you're trying to expand something in career because I would get like a feeling with it too. And that was her main question was she was kind of feeling stuck in her work. And then that it just kind of expands from there. And we'll talk to sometimes, your loved ones will pop up and sometimes we'll just get random psychic pictures that are like maybe not meaningful, but kind of cool. Like today I was like in the middle of it and then I just saw her playing on a Switch and I was like, are you a gamer? I feel like you're playing a Switch. And she was like, oh, I was playing Stardew Valley like right before this. I was like, okay, I'm not sure that's meaningful, but it's cool,
yeah.
So,
It's just like
so
telling
that's
you
how it
that you're
works.
connected, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
what I would do. Yeah.
exactly. So I love doing that. It's funny because the planets kind of involved in that in my chart are like really positive, happy planets, and that's been my experience with it. It's never been scary or anything. It's just like,
That's great.
sometimes it's very emotional. Sometimes it'll be very emotional, like if we're connecting to like a loved one or something, but it's never been this like traumatic thing. I'm just something I just randomly was like, I think I'm good at this. And it feels like something I'll always do in some capacity, maybe not full time. But I always want to keep that ability working because it's been taking me a long time to be like to accept it and cherish it on its
Yeah.
on its own.
And to be open with it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's totally a vulnerable thing. Yeah.
it is. I've had to do a lot of readings to get to feel confident, to be honest, and not
Sure.
think that it's going to go away because it's all in my head. It's all in your head. so, so as a Taurus, sometimes I'm just like, bitch, I gotta come back to reality and like touch
Yeah.
grass a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
so
that. I
I,
get
I
that.
I love doing that kind of work. And combining the two has been really fascinating too, because doing I remember because I'll do like combo sessions, so like we'll do like astrology and then intuitive or in reverse. And I remember the first reading we did was a psychic reading, and I was like, You're giving me past the like Library of Alexandria uh philosopher vibes. I just was like getting this. And then I remember looking at her chart after, and her chart ruler was like ninth house Mercury in Aquarius. And it was like kind of feeling to me like I was getting the vibe of her chart without looking at it until I started looking,
Yeah.
of that philosophical, intellectual kind of energy that she had. So it was
Okay.
just, I love the combination of the two.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. I'm gonna book one of those with you very soon.
I
And
would love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
anyone listening who is also interested in that, I'll have links so you can book a
Yeah.
reading.
It's
Uh,
dogstarOracle.com, like DOGStarOracle.com. So we can find everything there.
Perfect. Yay. Well, this was fun. Thank you for joining me to talk
Yes.
about this gay shit.
I love it. I will queen out with you anytime.
Thanks for coming.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
Bye.